Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donnybrook Stadium here in Dublin for a very sunny, bright spring day with a very cold nip in the air. And you're here for today's AIL Division 1B round 15 game between Old Wesley and Naas Rugby Club. I'm joined here in the booth by the very talented, very skillful, very professional and frankly better looking Stuart McAvoy. Stuart, how are you today?
Yeah, great introduction there, Tom. Much appreciated. None of it's true, but yes.
Well, look, you can settle up with me afterwards.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to today, actually. Two obviously good sides. First against third. Naas will be coming here to win, obviously. They're on the charge, as we spoke about just before we come on air. If we look at the table there, they're in third. Obviously, Wesley sitting pretty in first, with that one loss only in the 13 wins. So no, I'm really looking forward to it, and as you say, it is a bit windy out there, but hopefully expecting a bit of running rugby and a few tries.
Yeah, look, this is a matchup with a lot of rivalry. These two teams have been very close over the years, have shared playoff games against each other. There was a stretch 3 or 4 years ago where we couldn't buy a win against them. They were all late scorers, and then recently enough we've been lucky enough to have a couple of wins over them. But again, these teams are incredibly close. Naas are a very, very big physical unit, and look, it is very much it's a derby game. It's the games over the last number of years have developed this into a AIL Division 1B derby game between two clubs only about 40 kilometres apart.
Yeah, indeed, as you say. That rivalry, so there'll be a bit of extra spice today. Tom, what are you most looking forward to see here? Wesley obviously pretty much keep a settled side. There is 1 or 2 changes in there, but if you just want to what do you think about today and how do you think it'll go?
Yeah, we'll look at the sides in a moment. Look, I think Naas have got a lot of firepower. They have a very, very big pack. They're a ball handling pack as well. They're quite young. They like to get out in the loose. They're actually an awful lot like Wesley in many, many ways. They're very comfortable in D, and they look to transition on the counter very, very quickly. This is two teams who have a very, very similar game plan facing each other today. Experience on both sides. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, and the heart of that there's inside centre there for them. Craig Ronaldson obviously played 5 or 6 years professional rugby down at Connacht, and then he's here, so look, he'll be looking to pull the strings outside there. Brian Cook at 10, those two 10, 12. But up front, if we look there, Adam Cole, John Sutton and Peter King. In the engine room, Patrick O'Flaherty and David Ben. Then the back row combination, Ryan Casey, Will O'Brien and Big Polly Tolafu. Should be interesting to see how he goes at number 8. Halfbacks, Connor Halpenny and Brian Croak, as I've said. Then the left wing, Fionn Higgins. Ronaldson, as mentioned, in the centre with Matt Stapleton, and on the wing Donald Conroy and captain Peter Osborne. So pretty good side, and then we can see the bench, plenty of experience in there. A few good names, Tim Murphy and Sam Cahill, to name a few. What about the Wesley team for you?
Yeah, just before we move on to that, there's a lot of experience in that team. I'm looking through it. I know a lot of them from the old Leinster youths, Leinster 19s days. There's a lot of representative players at underage for Leinster on that side. Just looking across, you've got Coyler there, Sutton, Osborne from the lineage of the Osbornes, and of course his dad's club just next door to us here in Bective. Fionn Higgins again, another one, and Craig Ronaldson, of course. And again, Ronaldson with a great Wesley connection, coaching the Wesley senior team, who are playing a Schools Cup quarter final here on Monday. So Ronaldson's back in Donnybrook on Monday. But again, as you said, talent all the way through that side. And just looking at the Wesley team now.
Yeah, Harry Noonan, Ben Burns and Sam Kenny. Big day for Sam Kenny in the front row. Then the ever-present JJ O'Day and captain Ian McGann. And in the second row, what a back row it is. Will Fay, Josh Pym and Ruben Pym. Those Pyms embracive as ever and really up for the challenge. 9 and 10, steady combination as we've seen for the last number of months. Ben Murphy and Ian Cassidy. Then 12 and 13, Owen Deegan and James O'Donovan. In the back, the wingers there of David Poff and Thomas O'Callaghan, and of course Alex Malloy after that wonder try a couple of weeks ago. Has he been brought down to earth? Who knows? And then the bench, we have plenty of names in there, and of course Charlie O'Regan, come on, scored a great try, all his experience. A few other names there, Rob O'Donoghue and Alistair Hoban. So as we've said, pretty settled side there, Tom, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, and there's no team like Naas to bring anybody back down to earth. with an absolute blow. Again, only one change to the team in the front row, Sam Kenny. Look, it's Sam's second year in AIL rugby. He's got about 10-12 games under his belt at this stage. He is still learning the game, but he's young, he's fit, he's eager. As we would say, the dark arts might be not quite there yet at front row, but again, he loves getting on ball and he loves carrying it, and it's just youthful exuberance. So again, he won't be wanting for pace or physicality here today, I would say. It'll just be interesting to see what happens at scrum time, because again, that is a vastly experienced Naas front row he'll be facing. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned scrum time, because the Wesley pack against Highfield, it took a bit of time, but they got it right, and that's going to be another big asset of whoever wins this game today, Tom. Yeah, it is great. And look, the other thing too, we're in springtime now as well, and the wind's not huge, but that setting sun here in Donnybrook, it's going to be in the eyes of the kickers. So that might be something towards the end of the game. You look to see Wesley use her advantage, again putting up the high ball and causing a little bit of trouble for the guys catching it. Stuart, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to hear from some of our sponsors and everybody at home. We'll be right back with you in a moment. Again, huge thanks to our sponsors, Sonic and Savills, who enable us to bring these streams to you for free every week. But there is no such thing as a free dinner, of course, and we'll be mentioning this a couple of times through the broadcast. We've all seen the absolutely harrowing scenes coming from Ukraine during the week, and our thoughts go out to everybody there. Wesley today are donating all gate receipts, a donation at today's lunch, and the proceeds from the heads or tails game are being donated to the UNICEF Ukraine appeal. We have a QR code on screen now, folks. Those of you at home, we're asking you to scan the QR code and it'll open up a little donation window. If you can spare a few bob at all, rather than charging for the stream, we'd prefer you to donate a couple of quid to the Red Cross. None of this money comes through any Wesley accounts. It's going directly into the Red Cross appeal. So we'll be showing it a couple of times during the game. If you can, if you have a few bob, maybe take one less pint tonight and throw in a fiver. It's I think it's a really, really good appeal, and it's, and our thoughts go out to all those in the Ukraine at this time, and their families here in Ireland. Can't imagine it all. So look, turning the focus back to today, it's worthwhile talking about the two coaches here today. Morgan and Johnny, of course, have coached the Irish clubs together, Stuart, and I know you're familiar with a lot of Johnny's work over the years. Yeah, definitely. Obviously played for Munster and Leicester, bit of Ireland if I remember rightly, and coaches at Newbridge School as well, like a real all-rounder. Obviously great player back in the day, but now trying his hand on the coaching front, and he's doing a good job, especially at Newbridge. One stop back there, and now obviously they're sitting third with Naas here in the AIL, pushing for promotion as well, and will go up against Wesley, we hope, later on down the line in the promotion place in the playoffs. But today obviously we're still in the league, still battling for those positions, but it's going to be a real good battle, and tactically which coach comes out the top. Yeah, and again, Johnny's been with Naas a couple of years now, and I can speak for the Wesley Centre slate. We're glad he's on the sidelines and not in the centre anymore, because he caused us a lot of trouble for a few years there when he was player coach. Yeah, definitely. And speaking of our centres, so again, James O'Donovan and Nolan Deegan, they're big men themselves. Yeah, we're just waiting on the teams to come out, and again, we're just going to take a moment to play a little bit of a video here while we wait on the teams to come out.
We are Old Wesley. We are coaches and volunteers. We are kids of all years. We are designated drivers and honour strivers. We are training day drillers and last-minute thrillers. We are big match days. We are early Sundays. We are first to arrive because we live to strive. We are part of rugby's history, chasing the next victory. We are a family in unity. We are your community. We are pounding heart rates. We are lifelong teammates. We are stories told. We are heart and soul. We are glory days. We are every day. We are rugby giants and post-match pints. We are chest-proud medal. We are every level. We are mums, girls and dads, and do dare lads. We are sponsors and winners, and believing grinners. We are here to compete until we are dead on our feet. We are from here and there, tourers extraordinaire. We are power and pace, and bruised bone face. We will always thus be the spirit of rugby. We are here because of you, and because of your unwavering support. Thank you. 130 years, a club for life. Old Wesley, 1891.
We're back.
Yeah, as we see Naas come out onto the pitch here. Big team. Getting ready for today's fixture. In the lovely sunshine here of South Dublin. Should be an absolute cracker. And here come Wesley. Under a great crowd today at Energy Park. Led by their main man, Ian McGann. Wesley, as mentioned, they'll want to make it 14 wins of the season, especially in front of their home crowd. They'll want to put on a big display.
Again, you can hear Naas in front of us, hitting bags, getting ready for it. I think this is definitely going to be setting the tone of what's to come. They're really getting ready for the physical effort.
Is indeed, Tom, as you mentioned there. There's a few big hits there, and those rhino pads, I wouldn't want to be part of them, but they're going to take it too. Wesley today, aren't they? Especially the front five, front eight.
Look, a lot of experience there. Big Davy Ben in the engine room at second row. You know, he's about 20 caps shy of 200 AIL caps for Naas. He's he's a huge servant to the club, and he just seems to get bigger every time I see him. Now, I don't know if that's porter or protein, but it's definitely one of the two.
We'll say protein, Tom, will we?
I don't know.
Is that what you're on, is it?
Okay, we're ready for the off here. A word, Stuart, about a referee today?
Yeah, referee Peter Morton from my neck of the woods. So I'm expecting big things, Tom, eh?
Yeah, Peter, I think he had some international games. He was refereeing Romania in the autumn series, so he's done some of the European Nations Cup games, so a lot of experience there today, and will not take anything from the players, I'm sure.
No, and it'll be Naas and their inside centre and talisman Ronaldson to get us underway. And he goes deep. Wesley just getting himself set. Just looking to clear their lines early on, but even better than that, they win a penalty. And that's a good start, Tom. That's what they want. Yeah,
it's huge, you know. They can get a chance to clear their lines there because of the great press D by Naas, but getting the penalty and getting out of here.
Yeah, through that man Ian Cassidy. I've been very impressed with him last couple of weeks, Tom. He's really stepped in at 10 and controlled things.
Of course, former club captain when he was 9 here, you know, played all through the age grades, He was away for a few years in the States just with work, but he's back now 2 seasons. This is his first full season back with us.
And speaking of firsts, it's Ben Burns. First line out throw right in front of us here, and he finds his man. And Wesley looked to move it early on. Murphy just using his big centre there. And James O'Donovan. Wesley come round the corner. Cassidy pulls it back. Runners outside Murphy this time. Looking for a quicker ball. Cassidy, nice and flat. Naas well up in defence. They were well up, but not legally. And again, penalised not rolling away. So first time we've seen Wesley today, Tom, keeping ball, good phases, and they win the penalty.
Yeah, look, you know we're comfortable with ball in hand. We're trying to get in those wide channels early enough. We're also not rushing it and getting through it. You know, look, it's no surprise. It won't be shocked by anybody here today. That's the game we're going to play.
Yeah, but it must be a delight for Cassidy having these big forwards outside him, you know, getting over the gain line.
Yeah, and again, you know, the former 9, there's no problem telling him exactly where he wants to go, you know, so he's used to that. And again, sometimes you find that with young 10s, they tend not to bark at their pack, and they need to be dominated, they need to be told where to go.
Burns once more goes to the front. It's a good take. Back with the hooker. He splits off himself. Bit indecision, but it is still there in the white and red jersey of Wesley. O'Donovan from a standing start. Cassidy to his big second row. And JJOD. Nice crisp passing, and there's the line. But the knock on comes. Good strip. And it's Naas who have the turnover. Hal Penny just getting himself set. First real chance, I was going to say, for Naas to show what they're all about, but the turnover comes and they're back under a lot of pressure, and Wesley will have a chance maybe for the first points of the match, but that's the breakdown work again. Brilliant from Wesley.
Yeah, but look, credit to Craig Ronaldson there, the vastly experienced centre. He was in that ball, he got the arm in, he got it free, but again, the minute the whistle blew, McGann turned to his best bud Cassidy and said, have a shot, pal. You know, this is a game where we might not see a lot of tries today, so any sort of scoreboard pressure will be hugely important.
Wesley all season though, Tom, have been brilliant at the breakdown, especially against Highfield.
Yeah, look, it's part of the game where they've worked on, you know, and it's probably compensating for in previous years where it hasn't been as strong as it should have been.
So Cassidy to get the ball rolling for Wesley, get the first points of the match. It was low, but it was good. And that, the confidence of be thriving out of the number 10. That's a good start for him and for Wesley.
Yeah, great start. You know, great reward for the lads. One trip into the Naas half and coming away with 3 points. They'll be happy with that, but there's still a lot of rugby to be played here today.
It's the one you want as a kicker though, straight in front, Tom.
Yeah, great settler earlier in the game.
So, Ronaldson again. Same as just a couple of moments ago. Goes deep. Good carry from Owen Deegan. And Murphy once again. Ian McGann that time, the captain. Cassidy did use his big centre, but they will have the penalty. We will come back for this. This looks nasty, Tom, but hopefully, is it the fly half is okay here?
Yeah, I think we're going to see Peter Martin here calling in the Naas captain, have a chat with him. Like, that's 3 or 4 penalties in a row to start the game inside the first 5 minutes, and that would be considered a professional foul, I would think, in modern rugby. So I think it's probably early in the game. Paulie will stay where he is, but you know, they're going to have to be on their best behaviour for the next 10 minutes here because the referee is watching them. Yeah,
as you say, Peter Martin and Paulie Tollifa just having a few words. I suppose Peter Martin just wants to lay down the law so early on in this game to make sure things don't get out of hand.
Yeah, and again, you know, a vastly experienced young ref, as we've said. You know, he might look younger than his years, but there's a lot of experience there.
As that right foot of Cassidy moves Wesley into the Naas half.
So Burns here on the sideline, ready with the put in, getting the instructions from Noonan.
3 from 3. Fine take. Here they go. Josh Pym hit pretty hard, but does well. Once again, that same move. James O'Donovan coming into the line. Cassidy pulling it back. We see there David Poff coming round the far side, but things just didn't go quite to hand there, and Naas will have the line out, Tom.
Yeah, huge hit there by Paulie Tafu again on Josh Pym with the carry. That's going to be a very interesting battle today. You've got a mountain versus a bowling ball. That's the only way you can describe it. Two absolutely hard runners who will give no quarter. We're pausing here for a little bit of running repairs to the next 10. While we do that, Stuart, for those watching at home, Wesley today are running a drive to support the Red Cross's work in Ukraine. We've all seen the absolutely harrowing scenes on TV over the last week or 10 days. So on your screen there is a QR code. We're asking anybody who's watching at home, if you wouldn't mind donating a few bob, just take a picture, it'll bring you directly to the link for the Red Cross, and donate a few bob.
We reset with the Naas line out, and they still have it. But Wesley meeting far with far there. But the line comes, big second row. David Ben and Naas on the front foot, and they put the kick through. Alex Malloy just needs to be careful, and he was indeed. Did well, did the fullback, didn't have much time, and finds a bit of yards there with that kick.
Yeah, and a great catch in the stand there by Rory Steins, Wesley's most capped AIL player, of course from the parish in Naas himself, not far from it.
Was a fine take, Tom, something you maybe did back in your heyday.
We'll pretend so, yeah.
John Sutton, the Naas hooker. Good competing at the line out from Wesley. Still there in the black jersey. Croak acting. That scrum off. And the next phase later, Wesley aren't rolling away, and we will have a penalty to Naas. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Will they have the shot at the sticks from quite far out, or will they look to get into this Wesley 22?
Yeah, the full back, I can see him there picking up some grass to see which way the wind is blowing. I don't know if that works too well on the synthetic pitch here today, but he's maybe the rubber has gone the way he wants it to go, so he's going to have a shot. Interesting. I thought they might have went down the line here to look to get a bit of early forward dominance, but I suppose we said it ourselves in the opening few minutes, this is going to be a very, very close game, so scoreboard superiority, even if it's only 3 points here and there, will matter all the way to the very end.
Yeah, exactly. He's a big lad. Is Peter Osborne, the captain. So it is straight in front, but it is quite a long way out. You will see the outcome with his first strike.
Yeah, and it's definitely within his range, though. Interesting what the breeze does here.
Good strike, but not the direction he wanted. So a let off for Wesley. Stays 3-0.
Yeah, I think the breeze just caught that at the very end, Stuart, and just blew it a little bit off course. It wasn't far wide, it was very, very close.
Cassidy gets us back underway. Into the arms of Ryan Casey. And then Croak looks to the air. And that's a great take. David Poff standing up and was counted there. Good take. Murphy just fighting it out. Does come the short side. A couple of Wesley fans asking for the high tackle, and he gets it. But again, that's a couple of penalties Naas have just stupidly really conceded, Tom, and it's giving Wesley easy outs.
Yeah, I'll give him a pass on that one. It was JJOD with the carry. It was, next to impossible to take down. As I said countless times, he's like a young foal. He's running all knees and elbows. Good little touch finder there as well. Moved it right inside the next half up to the 10.
Yeah, because there is a bit of wind up here, and Wesley are definitely playing into it in this first half.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely feel it in the back of my neck. Probably getting a haircut this morning with the wrong decision.
Yeah, the high and tight, Tom.
Yeah,
And that is a fine
cold.
arrow. He started brilliantly as Ben Burns, going straight to 6. And they've won the ball. Murphy, the short line from Deegan, but couldn't quite grasp onto that. I like the intent, but the execution wasn't quite there from the inside centre.
Yeah, definitely. It's the intent was definitely there. It was a great line. It was a good pass. I'm not sure why the knock on was there. Maybe he looked up and took the eye off it for a moment.
If I'm right in saying, Tom, first scrum of the match, you're into the nitty gritty and the dark arts. What are we saying? What are you looking forward to seeing?
Loved the good scrum. There's always a chance for a 30 or 40 second rest for me. Huge fan of it. Didn't mind a few resets. It was an even longer rest for myself.
Pretty steady from both sides there. The ball did just pop out.
Yeah.
Ben Murphy fancied a wee go down the open side there, but he's going to be called back.
You know, I think Morgan will be happy with that scrum. That was held fairly tight. There wasn't a corner given by both sides. It's going to be interesting what happens in a reset here. Naas will probably look for the quick in, quick out.
Yeah, it is a good attacking area for them to look to move it. Look, both sides here, they're split. There's 4 on the open side and 2 on the left, Tom, so you would think they would go open, but you wouldn't be so sure.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see Paulie Tuafua take at the back here and carry one side or the other.
As you say, they do go on the open side and they move it. And once again, they like this tactic. It was their full-back that time, Peter Osborne, just happy to take a couple of extra yards in territory.
Yeah, I don't know. It's early in the game. I would be questioning why not have a cut and see what they're there. Feel them out. I understand the option for it, but I'd like to see them taking us on a little bit more early on in the game.
This must be a real Wesley tactic. Noonan telling Burns every time what he wants to do with it, and it seems to work once again. Big collision out there. Murphy looks open, has Malloy on the short line. Have Naas got hands in there? They do, but not quite. Still with Wesley. Here's the extra man. Good cutting in from the winger. Murphy to Cassidy. Naas up once again in that defensive system all together. Cassidy, what's he going to do? That's a great ball. And Wesley have numbers, and they're looking to move it. Fine feet. Thomas O'Callaghan that time. Ball has found the ground. It's still there for Wesley. Just needs to reset. Cassidy once more, the same tactic, and there's Malloy. He was dangerous against Highfield, and he's dangerous once again. Still there for Wesley. David Poff keeping the ball alive. Back with Cassidy, really orchestrating play. Either side, the fly half, great passing, both right and left. Just have to settle themselves. Harry Noonan, I think it's that time. Murphy once more. Naas seem to have got themselves back in numbers. Murphy using this short side and using his captain McGann. The hard yards are coming, trying to sneak into that Naas 22, but not quite, and the penalty is given away. Good play from Wesley to get up the pitch, Tom, but in the end conceding the penalty.
Yeah, a little bit more patience needed when they were up there. They just seemed to stick to that side. There was no look to move it across. I'm sure there was a reason for it, but after 2 or 3 attempts in the short, you think they would have tried to move it to the far side a little bit. But just a second ago, you talked about Noonan coming in and giving the instructions to Burns. What some of the folks at home probably don't realise is all these match footage are actually shared with each club in this division, so everybody's accessed everybody else's games, and sometimes you can actually pick up line-out calls. So very often what you'll see now is hookers won't make the call, rows won't make the call. It's all transferred ear to ear because you don't want people picking up calls or knowing calls.
Yeah, there's the insight, Tom, that you bring. Great to see. But another man there we've noticed how dangerous he is Alex Malloy. You know, it's even in tight spaces, you know, that inside ball from O'Donovan found the fullback and he's away like a whippet.
Yeah, look, it was phenomenal, and I guess, look, I know we probably spoke a little bit there about how we expected a better outcome. 1 second.
Good turnover at the line out for Wesley. So they're back with possession, and it was Josh Pym. Cassidy. Well played from O'Callaghan. Smart play from the winger.
Well, it's a penalty.
Looks to be a stray. Naas man there. Not sure how legal that was. Ben Murphy couldn't really challenge it. Thought that was going to be an intercept, but Naas now are on the attack. Peter Osborne trucking up the middle, and they come round the corner, but the knock-on comes. So a bit of helter-skelter rugby there. I was sure there was going to be a penalty for Wesley. It wasn't given, and then Naas actually went the short side, but in the end forced the error and the knock-on.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it wasn't a penalty. Maybe the referee believed that the ball was out and the player had legally come to a ruck at that stage, but look, that's a risk you take, and it paid off for Naas at that time, but I was pretty sure it was a penalty.
Don't think we were too biased there, Tom, but
yeah, and again,
we'll have to take the scrum instead.
If we look here, Stuart, you've got Tommy O'Callaghan sitting inside the 12, so there's nobody on the blind wing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting where he is used, if he is used or is used as a dummy. But first things first, getting the scrum right, and they do get it right, and they go straight from Murphy to Cassidy, and the cut-out ball, and here are the big outside centre, James O'Donovan, inside centre I should say. He did well initially, but he was brought down. Looks to have come back on the Naas side, and they do have the turnover, and that's not the pass. Tolafu wanted, and it's back with Wesley. Murphy itching for a quick ball. O'D, how well has he started the big second row?
I think JJ may have just lost that in contact possibly, but we're going to come back for the Wesley for the Naas knock-on. A couple of knock-ons in that passage of play. I think he was letting advantage work out.
Yeah, you're right. As soon as the team seems to get going, Tom, there is that slight error which does make it a stop-start game so far in the opening 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, but again, if we look back to that first phase, as we said, O'Callaghan was in, Naas didn't bring the winger across, they were defending up front with 3 and 2 behind, so that was very well read by John, knowing we turned the corner on the outside, there was definitely going to be space there. That's a great read by John at centre. He
started very well. James O'Donovan, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's very, very good. Again, former Irish Sevens player, along with Tommy O'Callaghan on the far wing, who was under 18 Sevens player for Ireland.
Wesley, Alex Malloy have directly behind the scrum. Cassidy on his left hand side. Here comes Malloy stepping in at 10 and using Cassidy in behind. The fly half, he fancies a wee go himself. Another carry. Murphy just getting his forwards where he wants them. Donovan, he's standing in at first receiver. Gets a bit of help. Looks to be a Pym driving those legs. Josh Pym in those orange boots and the head guard. Cassidy shapes the kick and he goes himself just like he did a couple of weeks ago against Highfield. O'D still going, the ever abrasive and present JJ O'D. Wesley itching closer to this Naas line, making sure that they get in the right positions. Murphy controlling things, happy to use his forwards once again. Still there for Ben Murphy. Harry Noonan that time on the short line. Speaking of short lines, they go again. Naas doing all they can to keep Wesley at bay. He's getting closer, and Murphy, Wesley must be over. Not that time. Ben Burns on the shoulder. Murphy, will he go himself? He's well tackled. Phase after phase, and in the end, it's a big win for Naas. I was sure Wesley were over, but Naas hang on and get the turnover.
Yeah, I was going to say when Ben broke there, that was a bold move, because again, he went on his own. If he didn't make it, it was almost certainly going to be a turnover. Maybe a bit of youthful exuberance there by Ben Murphy, but you'd be probably better off holding that and just keep sucking them in when you're that close to the next line.
Yeah, Tom, I don't see Ben Murphy snipe that much in general. The couple of games I've done, it is obviously an area he's improving and getting better at. Do you think, is that a coach system, or is that, will he be told just to pass it to Cassidy?
I think it is a system thing. I think, look, he's a young 9. He needs to focus on the basics, getting ball to Cassidy, and look, letting those good centres and full back free for us. But as we said the last week, it's very interesting because Charlie O'Regan comes on for the last 15-20 minutes and snipes, and they can actually lull the D into a false sense of security because they're not used to 9 breaking. And Charles scored two tries the last 2 weeks from sniping. So it's something to watch here as the game goes on.
Is indeed. Charlie O'Regan, as you say, will be used no doubt later on, and he spots those gaps. He's always on the positive lines, as the scrum half call them, always on the shoulder of the big forwards when they make the breaks.
Yeah, a huge engine on Charlie, lots of energy there.
So Naas clear their lines, and they'll want to get themselves sorted, and they do just that from this maul. David Ben winning the line out, and it's back with John Sutton. Hal Penny just happy to keep it in there at the moment. He goes to the night sky, or the afternoon sky I should say. Well taken. Thomas O'Callaghan doing the hard yards. James O'Donovan happy to go back across himself and gets the offload away, and that is brilliant. Has his hooker and Ben Burns with him. Murphy getting the balls away as quick as possible on the feet from Malloy. Away he goes again. What a step that is! Is he going to go all the way? He's just stopped. He's so dangerous, is Alex Malloy.
I think we've a card coming here.
We have indeed. Referee Peter Martin.
Alex, great break, but he's not going to like watching that in the video. He had Ben Murphy wide open, he's inside, and he didn't use him.
He didn't, Dean, but as we see, the yellow card is shown, and Naas are down to 14 men. It's their number 14. Donald Cromroy will spend the next 10 minutes in the bin. But yes, there was an inside man, Alex Malloy. He won't want to see that again.
No, and again, as you said, absolutely lightning dangerous on the break, and proved it that time.
But Wesley, of course, got the penalty and now have a real chance to get the opening score of the match. And Burns does his job, and they have it at the back. Have initially been stopped at source, and they look to go again. Murphy, he's going to use the men outside him.
Patience here needed by Wesley.
Again, the scrum half happy to use his forwards, and McGann. Noonan, he's an extra carrier. Murphy just shouting and roaring. Cassidy, nice hands. Malloy, one more, and there comes the score. And Thomas O'Callaghan, as easy as you like. That was well worked. Plenty of carries up the middle, and then the hands did the job.
And again, Alex Malloy had the option to go himself, but this time made the right decision and just shifted out to Tommy on the wing.
He reminded me of a certain Michael Lowry last weekend that, from Alex Malloy, had the option to score but used his winger. And Thomas O'Callaghan was the beneficiary and got in the corner.
I see you posting an awful lot about Larry on social media during the week. Has he brought in an injunction to get you? It was actually a little bit unhealthy, Stuart. It was great to get his first cap, but it was a little bit unhealthy.
Back to the rugby, Tom. Thank you. And a good start for Wesley.
A really challenging touchline kick here for Cassidy, right on the try line, over on the tennis court side. Sun into his eyes as well.
He started well with that early penalty, the fly half. Different kettle of fish, wide. As Tom said in the corner, that is a good strike. Is it there? No, not quite from the number 10. Good hit, just not the accuracy he wanted.
Yeah, and you know, a lot better patience there by Wesley on the Naas try line that time. As you could see, what I have noticed is Naas are not really committing a lot to the fringes of the ruck. They're shifting off very, very early, and maybe Wesley could catch them coming back in against the grain a little bit.
Naas just catching their breath here, happy to slow the game down.
About 8 minutes still left on that yellow card as well.
You're right. Ronaldson a bit shorter this time. Still into Wesley man, and that man is Owen Deegan. How good has JJOD been so far this afternoon? Murphy looking both ways. Goes to fly half. He looks to the sky. An early tackle on Peter Osborne.
Yeah, no malice there, just missed time and a bit silly timing there by Deegan. I don't think he'll get a yellow, but you know, that's silly.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting this time. Will they go down the touchline? And they will. They'll use the left boot, I think.
Ronaldson will put them into the corner with this, I have no doubt.
He will indeed. It's a good kick from the number 12. He feels he's been shortchanged there. But they have snuck into the Wesley 22. So an opportunity to hit back.
Naas going with a full lineup here, are they? They are. No, slightly shortened.
But once again, Wesley at line-out time are superb. Was that their captain that time, getting up and stealing it? Whoever it was brilliant. And Murphy has a chance to clear his lines. And he does indeed. That's superb work at the line-out. They must work all week at that, because that's 2 so far in the opening 30 minutes they've stole at important times.
2 steals, but again, Naas came in very lazy to that. If you're going to go tempo, you've got to come in tempo and get up quickly.
Again, falls by the wayside for Naas. They can't get this area functioning. It's not looking good from their hooker, John Sutton. Cassidy pulls it back. O'Donovan, what will he do? Keeps going, pumping those legs through contact. Pym, always on the shoulder. Brought down by a couple of Naas defenders. Bringing it back in field and getting Wesley set. And here, first time we've seen their par for Tolafu for Naas at number 8. Sutton this time in the loose. Halpenny grabbing the ball and getting it away. Ronaldson doesn't want to be isolated, and he is. It was actually Pym, of course it was Pym making the first tackle. I couldn't see if it was a turnover or they came in at the side that actually won the penalty.
Yeah, either way, Pym was right there, so if it was coming in from the side, he just didn't give an angle, so they had to come in from the side to shift, and very well done. Uncharacteristic from Sutton on those last couple of throws, they've been a little bit off. John, of course, a former Irish clubs and Leinster under-18s player, known for his darts, very, very accurate normally.
Cassidy, his line kicking has been phenomenal so far. There is a wind here and he's finding extra yards, isn't he?
Yeah, there sure is. And again, worth mentioning, there is 5 left on that yellow card by my count, maybe 4.5.
You're the man with the stopwatch. I will see when Donald Conroy comes back on the pitch, but at the moment he's sitting down in front of us and he can do nothing. He has to wait his time. Well taken. Back to Burns at the back. Just looking up. When will he go? He will go now. Ball comes out the back. There must be an extra man. Deegan fires it wide. Here's a try scorer in O'Callaghan, wrestling and fighting, gets the ground. Cassidy again has his big second row in JJOD. This time he uses his backs. Fine hands. And here we go. Big tackling from Peter Osborne, but Murphy trying to pick up the tempo. Does just that, does the scrum half, Cassidy. And there's the line, and who else? Alex Malloy picks his time, picks his moment, and the score comes, and Wesley are flying early on.
That is sublime, just stopping, waiting for the defender to shift off, and then giving the ball in behind. That is just great awareness and great skill.
Yeah, I think it was James O'Donovan there, for a big man, lovely hands. You had his full back on his shoulder, under the sticks. And Wesley, 13 points to the good.
Yeah, and again, just a little bit more patient when they're getting into that 22 now. They're not playing any high risk rugby, they're just going through the phases and looking for the gaps to open up.
Easy as you like from the number 10 in Ian Cassidy, and we're up to 15, Tom. It's been a pretty good 30 minutes or so for the home side.
Yeah, it's been an expensive 8 minutes so far for that yellow card for Naas. I can see him warming up in front of us, looking to come back on.
Naas haven't really got going. They haven't, it's simple as that. Wesley have stopped them from playing.
A lot of kicking, a lot of tactical kicking, you know, it's hard to work out what the game plan is here.
Ronaldson, same tactic. Deegan, he's caught a couple of those restarts. McCann loves those hard yards, does the skipper. Murphy just being careful, and he was rushed that time. Watson straight out, he was outside his 22, so not a moment the scrum half. I want to watch back.
No, again, good luck. He's going to look for the forwards to make up here again. Naas shortening up that line out. Ben calling them back in. He's not quite happy with the call. He's looking for a recall. Referee's going to ask him to hurry up here a bit. Let's see how they come in now. Do they come in with more tempo and get up quickly?
Probably not the moment. You want to be inside the hooker's head. You know, a couple of missed throws. He'll want to really get this right. And Sutton, he does that. Fair play to the number 2. And here's the big carriers in Casey. Hal Penny clapping his hand, expecting quick ball. Using his hooker, back in the switch. Wesley, well organised, making first up tackles. Will O'Brien that time in the red headgear. Hal Penny using his fly half. This time it's their prop, Peter King, who picks up the scrappy ball. And the penalty does come.
Penalty for the high challenge here. I think they just caught him. There was a chops tackle, and the high and the chops just kind of caught him around the neck. It slipped up a little bit. Again, no malice there, just maybe poor technique.
Exactly, but the Wesley defence has been really, really strong there. Naas can't get any numbers really round the corner or any gain line at the moment. 3
tackles behind the gain line in those last 3 series, those last 3 tackles, you know, I think that speaks for itself. And Naas, of course, are back to 15 now. I've just seen the winger come back on.
Yeah, you've been itching for that moment, Tom. Get that out there. Donald Conroy does come back onto the pitch, we can see. Right hand wing. So a good kick and a chance for Naas to show what they're all about. The furthest they've been in the Wesley 22, about 8 metres or so out. When Sutton and Ben combine and they get the march forward. Hal Penny just hitting his forwards, telling him where he wants them to scrum off. Still there for Naas. Brought to ground now.
That's turned.
Has that been turned? That is brilliant work from old Wesley. Who was in there like a thief in the night stealing that, Tom? I'm going to guess it was Pym. Who knows? But it was unbelievable. But the ball hasn't found touch, and Osborne has a chance to counter. Stapleton on his own. Penn itching for another turnover. Not that time. Big second row. Patrick O'Flaherty finds himself in the middle of the pitch. Crook on the advantage line. Naas going backwards at the moment. Peter King trying to sort that out, and there's the inside ball. But Wesley eyed him up, and the tackle, huge tackling. And once again, unlucky not to get their mitts on that ball. Still there with Naas. But the penalty does come.
Crossing there by the Naas 9, having a blocker in front of him. But again, you know, great tackle there by Ian McGann. He knew the inside ball was coming. He didn't shift, and he just waited and said, "Come to me, kid, I've got a little surprise for you."
And that surprise was a big tackle. But as you said there, the crossing came, but that really came from the initial defence from Wesley, and Hal Penny couldn't quite get his forwards and backs in the right area, and the obstruction and the crossing came.
Yeah.
Another great crowd in today, Tom. Great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, again, close to 1,000 in again, I'd say today, maybe 800. A sellout lunch as well beforehand.
Burns in front of us here. Great take. Murphy. Penn was going to give the offload away. Decides to keep it up the jumper. Pumping the legs is James O'Donovan. He's so good at that. Murphy to Cassidy. The combination has worked so well so far. Loose ball. Burns. He's like a good loose forward out there. Hooker. He's quick, so he is. Cassidy had men outside him. That time the number 10 says, "Give it to me, I'll take it up the middle." Standing start from JJOD. But what does he do? He breaks the gain line. The switch. Malloy dancing and weaving. A couple of Naas defenders in on him. Have they got the turnover? I think they have. John Sutton. And they get it down pitch. Is the ball going to stay in play? Still good. This could be a miraculous try in the end. And what a score! Theon Higgins, opportunistic, regathered, great control from the winger, and just like that, Naas are back in the game.
Yeah, Stuart, I was going to say there, that ball back in to Malloy, it was a little bit too cute by Wesley, and they got found out. He was coming back into traffic where the ruck had come from. You'd never want a winger coming back in there when there's such a tight amount of bodies around there. That's a bit silly, and Wesley being punished for that one.
It was end-to-end stuff, Tom, and then the kick over the top. Let's face it, he was trying to find touch, but there was no cover.
Nope.
And the big winger controlled it and scored. But it was good play from him, you know, to chase the kick and get over the line. He's got to take those chances.
Yeah, Fionn Higgins, absolutely lightning pace up the ring. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see him come up first. I presumed the ball was going to go to the touch, and then all of a sudden I spotted a black jersey herring up the wing. You know, great pace by him, great score, well taken, and to your point, yeah, used the boot to control it in very, very, very well.
So, can they get it back to an 8-point game? One last look at the posts. Looks happy with it, and rightly so. That's a big kick from their captain Peter Osborne, straight and true into that wind. It's a fine effort from the fullback.
Great kick, huge kick. You know, and again we talk about the championship minutes as we approach half time here. You know, Wesley will not be happy with that.
Yeah, as you say, a good time for Johnny Murphy and his team to score, especially haven't really featured in the opening 40 minutes.
And the visiting Naas fans have sprung into life here in Donnybrook.
As Conroy just about kept in touch there, kept in play I should say, from the restart from Cassidy. And Naas, they have their tails up. Adam Coyle getting the ball back to ground on this synthetic pitch. And Hal Penny finds the roof of the stand at Energy Park here. Good exit from Naas, and they'll be happy with that 5 minutes or so. So just on the half-time whistle, Wesley.
Last play probably coming up here, Stuart.
Yeah, let's see what they're up to. Burns, a dummy at the front, and they go to the back once again. The hooker, he's been exquisite with this line out throwing. Looks like a high tackle. It is.
Yellow coming here. That's Paulie's second high, if he can spot it.
He's got to be careful, the big number 8. He's already been spoken to by Peter Martin.
Yeah, he'll be lucky to stay on for 10 here, I would imagine.
Was that Will Fay there taking the big hit, was it?
Yeah, again, Will, huge engine, big carrier. Yellow card.
And another horrific moment really for Naas. You know, they're only back to 15 and their big number 8, he's now sent, so they're back to 14 now again. No, so what, they spent 20 minutes pretty much, or they will have spent 20 minutes down to 14 men.
Yeah, and again, you know, all that is good in the loose normally runs through Paulie for Naas, so that's a huge blow for them in the opening 10 of the second half.
Credit to Wesley though, they have really stopped the number 8 so far in the opening 40 minutes. I've only seen one carry from him. So as Tom said earlier, into the dying moments of this first half, Wesley with an extra man in the pack. See if they can make it count. Line out not quite functioning that time, but there is the break and there is the score. The third try of the afternoon for Wesley. Ruben Pym, I think it was the number 8.
It was indeed, Stuart. Messy throw, went to the back but gathered, and just, we said it before, such a strong runner is Pym.
He did very well there, you know, it was a bouncing ball, he picked it up and he broke the defender and away he went, and he wasn't going to be stopped.
No, great solo effort by Pym. And Cassidy here with the conversion, which will probably bring us to half time, I imagine.
Straight as you like and straight and true. So Cassie does add the extras. 3 tries for Wesley, just the 1 for Naas.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do here, Stuart, we're going to take a word from our sponsors. We'll be back to discuss the second half in a moment, and also you're going to see a brief video from Rugby Cares. It's an initiative coming up at the end of the month that we here in Old Wesley are delighted to support.
Hi everyone, my name is Graham Burns. Last October, I went into cardiac arrest. Thanks to the super fast reactions of my wife Karen and my two sons Ben and Sam, who were on hand to deliver emergency CPR, I'm still here to tell this story. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got a second chance. So as a result, I've decided I want to give something back, something small to the group of people who work so hard to support families and patients who suffer from heart disease. As a proud member of UL Bohemians Rugby Club and a wider supporter of the rugby community, I'm calling on that rugby community to show some heart for the Irish Heart Foundation. In conjunction with the IRFU, Energia, sponsors of the All-Ireland League, and the Club Scene podcast, I'm looking for as many rugby supporters as possible to raise some funds and awareness of the work done by the Irish Heart Foundation. On Saturday, the 26th of March and Sunday, the 27th of March, I want anyone who's playing a match for the club that weekend to wear the socks of their former club, former school, former university. That way, we'll be showing the rugby community what a tight-knit community it actually is. In addition, I'd also like people to visit www.rugbyshowssomeheart.ie and make a donation. Any money donated will go straight to the Irish Heart Foundation. Club rugby is the heartbeat of Irish rugby. Irish rugby is alive and well, and I'm asking as many people as possible to join me in this initiative to raise much needed funds for a really worthy cause. Please visit www.rugbyshowssomeheart.ie and watch out for updates on social media. Remember, Saturday the 26th, Sunday the 27th of March is our big day. Thank you very much.
Folks, welcome back here, and again, just before we start the second half, I want to talk about our Ukraine appeal here for Old Wesley today. All of the funds at the gate are going to the Red Cross, including a whip round as well at lunchtime, and the proceeds from the Heads or Tails game. Look, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and today there's no such thing as a free stream. So if you are watching at home, take out your mobile phone, scan the QR code, open your camera, point at the QR code on screen, and open the website that it's going to advise you to open. That is a direct link to the Red Cross appeal for funds to support their effort in Ukraine. So again, if you've liked the stream, if you're happy with the stream, do me a favour, thank me and thank Old Wesley by giving a few bob to the Red Cross Ukraine appeal. Stuart, welcome back.
Yeah, very well said, Tom. And we are back underway here.
We were chatting there briefly at half time, and I think one of the key differences between both sides is the speed of ruck ball for Old Wesley. They seem to be getting away maybe a second, 2 or 3 seconds quicker than Naas, and that's really benefiting them because Naas then have to press an awful lot harder off the line to make up for that quick ruck ball.
Exactly, and also as well as that, Tom, Wesley have really taken their chances. So Cassidy this time gets second half underway, goes long into Ryan Casey of Naas in the head band, and their scrum half in Hal Penny down this far side, tennis court side. Malloy always looking to beat the first man. Murphy doing what he can to get the ball away as quick as possible. Come the short side. JJOD, he was everywhere in the first half. What a carry that is. The bounce from Will Fay. And Wesley looking to spread it early on. Inside centre. O'Donovan using his winger. Nice hands from Pym. Fires it back. Good depth from Wesley and lovely hands. One more out in the far side. Ruben Pym. Try score at the death in the first half. Lovely play from Wesley. A couple of extra yards from Harry Noonan. Cassidy nice and deep that time. Good ball placement. Murphy, and then Cassidy looks up, sticks a great kick in behind, and that is lovely rugby. Started out just outside their own 22, and now they're in good bit in the Naas 22. Lovely rugby.
That's 10 years of AIL experience right there. Seeing where they're matched up, but also not spotting the full back in the corner and just going, yeah, we'll play a bit of percentage rugby here. It's also worth noting to folks who have just joining us, Naas, of course, have started this second half with 14 players. Paulie Tafua, the Naas number 8 in the bin.
As we see, Will Fay took that knock. He's a hard man to take off, and he's back joining the line out here.
Yeah, just a huge engine on him. I know it's a cliche, but you know, he will start the game at the same. Sorry, he will finish the game at the same pace he starts it.
Substitution for Naas at hooker. Connor Johnson on for John Sutton. Sutton didn't quite have the 40 minutes he'd want with the line out. Let's see what his replacement can do. And Johnson starts it well. Ben, he's been at the heartbeat of this Naas pack. Hal Penny, good pressure from Pym, but Stapleton does well. On the left foot, looks to clear the lines. Kept inside from Thomas O'Callaghan as he goes infield and burns. Lovely hands from the hooker to his captain and McGann, and they go through the middle. Opportunistic. Murphy once again picking up the pace of play. The scrum half. Cassidy is the intercept from his opposite man. Wasn't quite. Thought Crook was going to go the length there, but he just fell in front of him and knock on.
If I'm on the sideline for Wesley right now, I'm screaming tighten, tighten. That was just a little bit loose of Wesley, you know, trying to push it a little bit too much.
But very impressed, Tom. Murphy and Cassidy set most weeks, but the distribution and the passing, it's always out in front, particularly Murphy to his 10, and then when Cassidy uses his runners, and even O'Donovan pulling the ball back in behind, the passes seems to always be out in front, which gives the attacker that extra space and extra moment just to pick his options.
Yeah, and this is the first year of that partnership, right? They haven't played together before this season, and again, Cassidy didn't even start the season at 10. He was starting as a backup 9 and has now moved into 10. So to your point, their link play is phenomenal, and they're not playing together that long, so it's great to see. Just we've pause in action here as Ben Burns is just getting a little bit of treatment, nothing serious. Burns, you know, just coming back a little bit gingerly to the scrum, but I'd say he's okay to continue on.
For a wee man, he'd probably hit me saying that. He's hard, isn't he?
Oh,
he really
nuggety.
is.
Absolutely nuggety. Like all ball carrying hookers.
Interesting tactic here, Tom. You see Owen Deegan and Alex Malloy standing directly behind each other, which is interesting.
I think it's called shotgun formation, Stuart.
I'm going to guess Malloy will pick up the ball. But first comes from a scrum half and Mercy. Then O'Callaghan back inside. The winger, dangerous as ever. Murphy gets back in position. And Cassidy, the dummy, goes himself. Noonan finds himself on the wing. Dancing feet from the prop. Gets the ball to the ground. Pym. Only one way he's going, and that's straight through the Naas defence. Wesley now really finding a bit of go forward. Murphy. Cassidy pulls it back. Deegan. Centre partnership working well. James O'Donovan. Very well indeed. How he got through there. the big outside centre and in for the bonus point try.
As we said, O'Donovan with a lot of Irish sevens experience, that was a real sevens line, a hard line back inside against the D, which are pressing the inside out, just turning them and stepping free and behind. Great line, great score.
He did very well to shrug that tackle, didn't he? I thought he was stopped and then he kept going leg drive and he got the reward.
O'Donovan's about 6'4", he's a big man. You know, about 100 and 105 kgs, like that is size moving at you. But I think when I did see a little bit of a little hitch in his run. He may have tweaked something, so that's the last actually going to see a job today.
Yeah, Cassidy adds the extras, but unfortunately for the try scorer, James O'Donovan, that's going to be his afternoon over. But what a 46 minutes or so he's put in. So there will be a change in the centres.
Yeah, and that's the bonus point try for Wesley as well.
Yeah.
Again, got to see it all the way out to the finish though.
So I think I saw there Brendan Monaghan maybe coming onto the pitch. Double check that, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. As Puff swivels NFL style, gets round his man.
Yeah, I can confirm it is Monaghan that's come on the far wing.
Murphy rather skyward without any distance that time from the scrum half. But Wesley do get the result and they will have the line out as more changes come on. Alistair Hoban for Will Fay, obviously hasn't quite recovered from that big carry a couple of moments ago, so probably a wee bit of precautionary for the number 6.
You're not losing much though with Hoban coming on.
McGann plucks that out of the air. He's shouting to his forwards. Murphy looks to go himself. He's not happy. And they do win the penalty. There's a bit of obstruction there. Was it his opposite man? Hal Penny got his hand there. And surely they won't go for the third yellow card here, Tom.
He consider it's a professional foul. It was okay, it's a long way out. He can consider himself lucky to stay on. The hand was going down, it wasn't coming up. By the letter of the law, it should be a yellow card, but I don't think he will give it here. You know, Peter Martin wants to see a game played and he doesn't want to be too litigious either.
And he answered exactly what you said. He's given the penalty, not the yellow. And to be fair to Peter Martin, he's made sure the tempo of this game so far has been picked up and there's been no resetting at scrum time. The game's pretty much flowed.
No, this is two teams who want to play rugby allowed to play rugby here today. I think I'm on 12 now for my cliche count, Stuart.
Say you'll be up to 20 by the 80-minute mark, Tom. Burns. Who else? That time OD. Nice line out play. Burns, nice feet from the hooker. But the penalty does come straight over the top.
Yeah, Alistair Hoban, you know, that's something the referees are quite hot on this year. The minute that you put your hands on the deck, on a seal and not on the man, it's going to be a penalty.
And Tom, I should really bring you in here because you're a numbers man, but they're back to 15 here. Polly Tollefua back on for Naas, a guy who hasn't featured so far in this game, but he really is an attacking threat, and if they do get him ball in space, he can cause Wesley problems.
Yeah, Paulie's the type of player, he only has to run at you once and you know he's on the field. You know, he can spark the game at any moment and he will bring tacklers with him. It's not the runs he makes, it's who he brings off the ball to free up other players.
He's a sort of player, Tom, why I've retired. Couldn't be tackling him. Johnson, too far that time. Another costly error for Naas. Johnny Murphy just to the side of us here. Absolutely tearing his hair out. They're the basics Naas have got wrong so far. A good chase from Pym. He's back with Malloy and Wesley. The fullback goes to the air. Has that gone too far? No, it hasn't. That's a brilliant kick from the fullback.
That's a 50-22
it is indeed. No, it's not.
No?
It didn't go into the 22, Tom.
Didn't go into the 22, you're right, Stuart. I thought I'd travel a little bit longer.
Anyway, either or, it was a cracking kick.
Yeah, something I've noticed as well, Cassidy's taking a lot more breaks and snipes himself today. He's carrying the ball an awful lot more. It's not something we've seen from him a lot this season.
Naas back under pressure, and they're creating more pressure on themselves as they lose another line out. Murphy takes an extra step and uses Pym, bulldozing his way through the Naas defence. Cassidy with that wide ball, what a ball that is. He's found his winger. Really pulling the strings as the number 10. That's a big tackle from Tolafua. Pym once more, he's everywhere. Ball still on a plate. Tolafua making his presence felt. Good feet from Thomas O'Callaghan. JJOD wrestles at the ground. Cassidy has his inside centre outside him. And Deegan. Murphy switching the point of attack once more. Asking for a quick ball. Still there. Pulls it back. The kick through. Smart play from one winger. Nearly found the other. But to the touchline. That's night play from Wesley.
A lot better defence by Naas there. As you can see, they're working side to side. They're not biting in as much. They've started to work an awful lot harder, moving side to side and not giving that little angle in behind the Wesley.
More changes. Charlie O'Regan, try scorer against Highfield, is on at scrum half. So Ben Murphy gets a good reception and a change in the front row as well. Harry Noonan makes well. He's had a good 50 minutes or so, hasn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he's had a great game, and that little spin move on the wing as well.
And that time Naas do get it right and use their number 8, and away they go. The back row combined. Here's Will O'Brien, hard man to put down, is eventually stopped. And Naas have numbers. They look to spread it. They do go to the boot. Conroy finds a great bit of space. Malloy just needs to be careful. And that is brilliant from Naas. Big carry from their number 8, and their 7 was on his shoulder. And in the end, Conroy kick for territory, and Wesley are right back under the cosh here. But Naas, the first real time in the second half, they've spread it and used it well, Tom.
Great kick there by Naas, and of course Alex Malloy had no other option but to step out with it. Didn't risk doing anything. Gansy's not happy with the referee, and again, you know, there's a lot of pushing and shoving to get the ball off Malloy there when he brought him to touch himself. They could have taken the quick line out, so he's pretty right, the board referee, about that.
A few more changes for Naas. Paul Monaghan and Tim Murphy on, as they have a chance to set this maul up, and Will O'Brien does that. Initial defence from Wesley was good, but now Naas get the go forward, and they get the score out of nowhere. They get their second throw of the afternoon. Initially I thought Wesley had stopped the shunt, but Naas worked it well round the corner and got in for the try.
And again, that all starts from Paulie Tafua running out of the 22. What did I say? It's not the runs, it's the players he brings off the ball to free up others. And again, it was quick transition of the 22, kick to the corner, and that's that line out we talked about before the game. That's the ball that Wesley had feared.
I'm going to take a gamble. I didn't quite see it, but he was the last man up, Paulie Tolafua. So I'm going to say he was the man to get it down. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm not sure myself, but it was definitely one of the heavies. We might ask some of the journos here beside us.
Was indeed. We've been confirmed it was a number 8, Paulie Tolafua.
And if it wasn't, it's Tony Lawler here beside us that told us to make sure you can blame him.
So 29-12 with a chance to get it to 29-14 through Peter Osborne. But no, not to be for the skipper. 4 tries to 2. Wesley still very much in control, but Naas, that'll give them a bit of heart.
But Stuart, that just shows how dangerous Naas are, right? From their own 5 metre line all the way out to the Wesley 5 metre line in the space of about 90 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. They were camped in their own 5 metre line, Tom.
Paddy McKenzie's on here as well, I see, Stuart.
Yes, and he's straight in the action. Hitting restarts. But Naas, they react well. And they have their tails up at the moment. And they're looking to spread the play. And away they go. Conroy, hard man to put down. Nippy winger. A few guys here asking for a penalty to Naas to my right hand side. As you can hear, they do win the penalty in the end. But Tim Murphy has come on for the visitors and at scrum half, and he's tried to add a bit of pace, a bit of injection, and tried to get a bit of go forward for his team.
Yeah, Stuart, you know, oh, yeah, that's made touch. Morgan seems to have run the change a little bit earlier than normal play. I'm wondering, has he cleared out the bench just that tad too early?
We shall see. Anyway,
a lot of changes in quick succession like that can disrupt the cohesiveness of a team.
they can indeed. And Morgan's team are back under the pump here. As Conor Johnson just has a word with Adam Coyle, getting the instructions right.
And of course, the big 8 out at centre here.
But again, when the time comes, Wesley, where do they deliver? And it's at the line out and get the turnover. Yeah. Definitely one in the first half early on, and now in the second.
Possibly not the right option from Naas there to go to the front, where Wesley were stacked. There wasn't actually that much movement in that line out either, so it was quite easy to read. Again, Wesley with Kenny and O'Donovan, both only 2 years out of 20s. Two very young props on to finish the game.
I suppose, Tom, Wesley have such a good winning mentality. You know, 14 games played, 13 wins. They're just so used to winning that even if Naas do, you know, cause a couple of tries and put them under a bit of pressure, Wesley know how to respond.
Oh, Stuart, there's still an awful lot of rugby to be played here. 22 minutes left on this clock. Wesley's looking for the penalty here. Yeah, and they get it. Great work by the young front row. Rob O'Donovan, great work.
Yeah, just like that, big scrum. And Wesley are out of their 22, Tom.
Looks like it's going full here for Wesley.
Burns to the tail, to Pym. It's a fine art, that combination. And they peel off, and Wesley driving up the field. First real time. They peeled off. But there is a hand in there. That's Killian Dempsey for the visitors. How he got in there and gets the turnover. Brilliant play from the replacement second row.
Yeah, very well played by them. The tail has worked very well for Burns today, and he's been very accurate to it as well. I think he's been called ashore now. That's his day done.
Yeah, the hooker has been very good, and he thanks the old home faithful there. So Robert Byrne now will get his chance to shine.
I'm going to hazard that the average age of the front row is now 21 for Wesley.
Yep, just like the average age in the commentary box, say Tom. Murphy feeds for the visitors, but that scrum is being dismantled. There's a hand in there from the big number 8, but somehow it's good to go, and they do the wrap around, and Osborne finds a bit of space, and Naas are away. Cahill, Shepherd into touch.
Monaghan needs to be very careful there. He was caught in no man's land, looking for the big push, and Naas just slipped in behind him. That's not how Wesley defend. He's got to just hang back that little bit and push off the defenders.
What did you make of that? Tolifa there, the number 8. I'm not sure if the ball was actually out of the scrum. It was very good skill from the number 8, but I'm not sure it was legal.
Look, whether it was legal or not, he got away with it, but what a great shove by the Wesley pack. Really putting him under pressure there.
Not like you to give Naas the up, Tom, and fair play to you there. I'd say it'd be a different answer if the scoreboard was different, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, but you know, like, the other thing too is, you know, I've worked with some really good coaches over the years, and they always say, you know, referee's going to make 9 or 10 mistakes per game, and it's not the mistakes he makes, it's how you react to them, right? Because you can stand there giving out, being an Emin at him, and they'll just score against you. So don't, you know, just work on. Referees are human, they'll make mistakes. It's how you react to those mistakes is what matters. And fair play to Wesley, there was no giving out yet. Some of the sideline were having a pop there, but the players just got on with the job and shuffled across the field and made their tackles.
Indeed, and I've been very impressed with Peter Martin so far in this opening hour or so, Tom.
Yeah, we haven't had him that much down here before, but like he's let the game flow. He's let both teams play rugby, which is great to see.
So, replacement Byrne has his first line out, and it goes astray, but it is gathered by Wesley, and Pym pumping those legs. Rob O'Donovan in the blue head guard protects the ball. Wesley just offering up runners. Charlie O'Regan just needs to be careful, get Wesley back in some sort of shape here, and this time they do get a bit more depth, but the pass isn't right, and I'm not sure, Tom, they should really just clear their lines. I think
this is not Wesley rugby, you know, trying to play out from your own 22 against a side like Naas. When you're only a couple of scores clear and there's still a good 15 minutes left in the clock, now sit in the pocket, build up the field, and your lineout's working quite well. You're putting them under pressure, so we attack them there.
No, Naas.
Again, I come back to, were some of those changes made a little bit too early? What's the leadership on the pitch now? You've got a lot of young players there. Some of the older players really need to start stepping up.
Naas go to the front, and they're close. Is this going to be a second try from the line out? No, it's not, but that was smart play, and in the end it was last gasp defending from Wesley to stop Naas getting right back in this.
Yeah, but that's it. To your point, now they've got a goal line dropout when they could have had a line up probably on the halfway, putting it under pressure under Naas.
Mackenzie taking over the kicking duties as Naas spread it one side of the pitch to the other. The offload, lovely work from Murphy to, I think that was Monaghan, out the back door style. Murphy feeds it, and Naas have numbers. What will the big prop do? They'll use his replacement in Monaghan. Murphy, good fizz on that pass.
Great tackle
Scrum
by
half,
O'Regan.
uses fly half and Croak, pulls it back, and there's the inside line, and that is lovely rugby. Peter Osborne, the captain, gets under the sticks, but that was well worked. The gaps open up and the fullback went straight through, and he's getting all the plaudits, and he deserves them. And Naas get their third score, and really are here to play and here to win, Tom.
Yeah, look, great inside pull line there to set him free and under the post. Caught Wesley defence working from the inside to the out in that hard outside press formation. As we said, there's a lot of time left in this game, and Wesley really need to double down on their focus and concentration here.
Yeah, and the fullback, he converts his own try. So 10-point game with 15 minutes to go.
It's going to be interesting now to see if they send this kick out long, looking for the kick return, or they're going to make it contestable.
Lovely play from the Naas centres there, and then the assist came back inside to Osborne, and he wasn't going to be stopped. Mackenzie, better kick that time. The knock on does come, so Naas have the advantage. Murphy. And these Naas players, they've got their tails up. They're carrying, looking the extra yards. The substitution, the bench for them. have really worked so far. But there is a turnover for Wesley. And O'Regan getting himself set. Using the big carriers. A short line from O'Day. But O'Regan looks to go the short side, and the error is forced. Good defence, but I'm not sure the replacement 9 really needed to snipe there, Tom.
Yeah, and Stuart, here's something to watch out for the next few minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Naas brought back on some of their starters. With this game getting so close, they may start to bring back on some starters here just to see if we can get a bit of dominance in the last 10 minutes to see what can be done. It's just something to look out for. Of course, you are allowed rolled subs in AIL.
So, Naas just making sure that ball comes back on their side. Murphy goes himself that time, the nippy scrum half. Static ball as Wesley are up in the Naas faces. Murphy off the deck and back into position, using former Connacht man Ronaldson. And the penalty does come, and they go straight through the middle, and the tempo goes through their fly half crook. The number 10 went himself, and Fionn Higgins is the next man up. Osborne stepping in at first receiver. Killian Dempsey in the middle of the park. Ronaldson pulls it back. Big tackling. Has that gone forward? Yes, it has. And the error is forced. But the time, it's all Naas at the moment, Tom.
It is, and you know something, I'm actually going to be a little bit critical of them here. They need to just hold on to the ball when they're in that position. There's no need to risk it. They're playing the better rugby right now, and they are on top right now. Okay, not the scoreboard. There's plenty of time. There's no point for risking passes like that there. They just need to hold ball.
It's interesting, the 10 and 12 Croak and Ronaldson coming more and more into this game. You know, you've worked with Craig Ronaldson, the class he is, but as time goes on, he's having more of a say in Energy Park, isn't he?
Yeah, I can remember working with Craig with a Leinster Under-19s team many years ago, and again, he was always just a standout player. And again, the reason why he's had such success in the game, it's a skill set, but it's his vision. He sees an awful lot more than your standard player out there. He's got a great read of the game, and that's why he's becoming a very good coach now as well.
Yeah, as you say, he's back here on Monday, isn't he?
Back here Monday, yeah. So
there's a Leinster Schools clash.
Leinster Schools quarter final. Wesley College again. You know, great links with the club here against Gonzaga here on the front pitch. So we want to wish all those in Wesley College best of luck with that game on Monday. I'm sure there'll be a good crew from the club down to cheer them on.
And when it's going their way, and it really is going their way, at scrum time, they get the penalty, and that's a big shunt there. All the praise going to Jack Barry here in this near side, coming on and making the big difference at scrum time.
Into the corner again. You know, there's no other option here. Take the maximum points on offer right now. Well, try and take the maximum points on offer right now by going to the corner.
Good kick from their third try scoring captain, Peter Osborne.
Yeah, some worried looks on this Wesley sideline down there, I can see.
Well, this line-out maul has been functioning for Naas, hasn't it, Tom, in the second half?
It has. They're gone full here as well, so, you know, Wesley have got a two-pod up. The middle is free. Watch a little break through the middle, be careful.
They go to the front. Johnson finding his jumper. And they're shunting this through the middle of the park, and the cavalry of Naas is on the charge. They're still going. Must be only a metre short. Tim Murphy just getting the big men set, but they're matched by Wesley. Big defence from the home side as they keep it in there. Murphy barking the orders, happy to keep it in. Will he use his backs this time? Yes, he will. Ronaldson on the short line. And that's a big moment. I thought the centre was cutting through the middle, but the breakdown came, the turnover won, and Wesley win the penalty.
And who won the turnover? Josh Pym. Great jackal in there by Josh. Again, yeah, look, hindsight's a marvellous thing. I did hear the Naas coaching team shouting for a kick on that last penalty, so I don't think they'll be overly happy with those outcomes.
Now, this is interesting. Tom, what do you make of this? Cassidy and Noonan coming back onto the pitch. You mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. You see why they've done this, Morgan? This coaching trip. This is exactly what they need. Yes.
It's just bringing back continuity to see the game out, right? It's no question on the skill set of the players who brought on. It's just that little bit of experience that might be lacking. And again, I thought it'd be Naas who'd do it first.
Byrne. Great arrow once more. OD. And Wesley. What a carry. If it's one Pym at the breakdown, it's another one Rubin on the charge. O'Regan does a smart thing and goes in the air. Higgins offloads it to Peter Osborne, who goes to the sky. Charlie O'Regan returns. Is that too far? Just too much from the number 9, and an error there. O'Regan, since he's come on, he's tried hard, but a couple of wee errors there, Tom, from the number 9.
Yeah, look, you know, he went for it. I've no problem with a player going for something like that, right? You know, Wesley had just had a great run by Pym. He went for it. It didn't work out, but again, it's a line out. The line out's working very, very well for Wesley, and they'll look to attack it again here for Naas. Brief stoppage in play. While we have a brief stoppage in play, there's a couple of things we need to talk about as well. Big Division 6 final here tonight. The Fives are taking on Terranure. Best of luck to the Fives in that one after this game at 5 o'clock on the front pitch. I know Colin Wallace and his charges are getting ready to welcome Terranure. And of course, our president, Nigel Poff, who's recuperating at home today and can't be with us. Poffy, speedy recovery, and I hope David brought down the president's credit card and it's still not in your pocket at home, because it will be required later on.
And you're not making an appearance for the Fives later on, Tom? No, didn't make the squad. No,
they wouldn't pick me. There is a formal letter of complaint gone in about that one.
I'd say I
can't speak right now on camera about it.
I'd say there's a couple of letters from you. If I know you, there'd be a few letters. Back to the rugby. And Johnson does well. Murphy. There's a bit of a mix up there from Croak on his forwards. As the ball is turned over, O'Regan just sloppy there from both sides. That last 5 minutes hasn't quite got going, Tom.
No, again, like, the turnover was great there, but it's just, you know, Charlie Regan came back the same way where the turnover came from. You need to just keep going, same direction, drag Naas across the pitch, and then look to counter when you come back, you know. Just a little bit of decision making is just not quite right at the moment.
But O'Regan will get a chance to sort things out here at the scrum. See what Wesley have to offer in the last 5 minutes or so. But first things first, they'll win a free kick.
And again, that's experience by Regan, not risking a put in, giving the referee the look and saying, here, are you going to do something about this, or is it going to be me? I thought Wesley would have scrummed again there, but they're going to take a free kick.
Yeah, I'd say the number 10 who's back on will go to the sky. And what a bomb that is. But it was well diffused by the Naas man. And there's the kick over the top, but well covered by Pym. And Wesley have a bit of space. Thomas O'Callaghan just got his legs plucked away from him there. There's Rob O'Donovan.
Josh Pym there
is the next
getting a
man
little bit of treatment
to carry up, but there's a bigger issue here. As Josh Pym just needs to be looked at. Let's hope the back row is okay. it looked like a nasty one, and he's been brilliant again today, so let's hope he's back and up on his feet soon.
Yeah, look, Josh has made of solid stuff. You know, I'm sure he will. We might see the introduction here back again of Will Fay. Just probably don't want to risk too much of Josh if he has got a bit of a stinger there or something. And folks, just while that injury is going on, we're just going to quickly put it up on screen one last time. Again, Wesley are delighted to support the Red Cross effort in Ukraine today. All of the gate receipts from today's game, a donation at the lunch, and the proceeds from the heads and tails all going to support the Red Cross appeal for Ukraine. Again, harrowing scenes. We've all seen them on TV over the last 10 days or so. If you're at home, if you just scan your QR code off the screen, it'll bring you to the donation link directly to the Red Cross. And if you can give a few bob as a thank you to us for the stream today and supporting the great work the Red Cross are doing over there at the moment. We'll just leave it up for another minute or two. And we'll rejoin play here, Stuart. Big 5 minutes left here, Stuart.
Yep. As you can see, 4 tries to 3, 10 points in this game. Unless a miracle happens, it is Wesley's to win. But it's been a real joy. Let's hope we can get another try or so before the full time. And Wesley in front of a great crowd here. Get a great shunt on and win the penalty. Peter Martin, right arm or his left arm going up and giving all the plaudits to Wesley there in the front row.
There is no greater feeling as a prop than coming out of the scrum and seeing the referee's arm reach to the sky on your side of the ball.
Cassidy, like he's done all day, finds a good touch. With the Wesley players in front of us.
Getting the line-out call right before they go down to the 22. Noonan running in here to give the instructions.
Who else? He's done it all day and he'll do it for the remaining 80 minutes. Next couple of minutes.
Bit of a miscue there, but Wesley still keep the ball.
You're right. O'Regan from the base to his hooker and Byrne. We're going to come back the short side. Noonan, good hands for a big man, and he's fighting one arm on the Naas defender, the other making sure the ball gets back, and it does. Here is the captain, and there's the line doing the hard yards. 79 minutes into the game, Ian McGann, and wins the penalty for his team. Naas not rolling away, and that looks to be that, Tom.
Yeah, I'd take a kick at the post here. I'd let Paddy McKenzie have it, or Cassidy, who's on. I'd let Ian have a kick and just make it most definitely a 2-score game.
But talk about
almost
leading.
A 2-score game. No, Cassidy's going to the corner.
Talk about leading from the front. Ian McGann, even there, hard yards, gain line, extra momentum, wins a penalty for his team.
Yeah, former 10 at underage, so you know he still has that mindset.
So they go to the corner. Do old Wesley a bit more time taken for this line out. They want to get this right. And they do just about. No, they don't. I thought it just came back on their side, but that's 2 errors there. Just gone forward. I think it was Pym in the end.
Yeah, pressure throw for the young hooker. Going to the tail. Look, we've had great success from the tail all day. I presume there was going to be a peel on the maul there, you know, but again, you have a young hooker, possibly call it to the middle if you can, just to give him an easier throw. But look, the clock is ticking down. Wesley are in the right area of the pitch.
They are indeed. And their scrum's been good, and they go again. But the Naas number 8, Tolafu, who's come more into this game the last 20 minutes or so, does well from the base. And they do get away through Croak, but he hasn't found touch. It's picked up, but forced here, Paddy McKenzie.
Quick take there by Naas. We're on again.
And they look to go from their own line. Speculative rugby here, Tom. Away they go. The offload from Conroy to Ronaldson. And they go again. They're not for stopping. Forwards and backs combining. Jack Barry in the middle of it. But Wesley, have they turned that over? No, they haven't. Still more bodies in that breakdown. Naas looking to play from everywhere.
Wesley only sitting with one full back, one back deep at the moment. If Naas kicks through, he could be in trouble.
Conroy coming more and more off his wing. So he jack in the box, that winger.
Tommy O'Callaghan has now gone deep as well, just to watch out for that kick through.
Ronaldson putting the head down, showing his experience. And Tolafu seems to be everywhere at the moment. They're right on the gain line. Back inside. Fionn Higgins that time. But in the end, Wesley get it covered. It was winger on winger, I think. Poff makes the tackle.
Yeah, it gets the knock on as well in the tackle. Great hit by Poff. Just a bit of treatment there for the winger, so we'll turn away from that. Stuart, as we approach the final stages, your thoughts on possibly man of the match day? Who's impressed you?
I suppose I've mentioned two, probably a couple of games I've done here, and people will say I pick them every week. I think Ian Cassidy's been very, very good, even though he's only played, I'd say, 55 minutes or so. Also, who else? So, Josh Pym. He's been absolutely everywhere. But you know what? I'm going to chuck it back to you. You can make it the final score. You can make it the final decision as the old Wesley man here.
Yeah, look, I think, you know, Fionn Higgins is a very, very good game for Naas as well. You can't look past that. And, you know, the Naas 10 of Brian Croke has also had a very, very strong game. But, you know, I think you've got JJD in the mix as well. You know, it's a toss-up for me. I would say it's probably JJ or Cassidy. But I think we'll probably have to give it to Cassidy today, but JJ wouldn't be too far off.
So you've gone for Ian Cassidy. Have I set you up there? Fair play.
Yeah, that's it. Congratulations, Cass. Can of Coke and a Mars bar in the bar afterwards for your man of the match. Well done. Johnny Murphy there giving the referee some guidance and advice.
Yeah, Peter Martin just want to get this scrum right here. He's having words.
Wesley won't mind a reset here, let the clock tick down.
It's interesting because the first half the scrum was very even, and then both sides since the second half have won penalties either side, so I'm not really sure who's out on top. Wesley the last 10 minutes have been all over them, but apart from that, Naas won a couple of penalties as well.
Changes the front row, tired bodies, technique starts to slip a little bit. You know, it's been an incredibly physical, high-paced, high-tempo game.
O'Regan under a bit of pressure there to put the ball in and talk about being on top, and you can see what it means to old Wesley here in front of us. That's another big scrum and a big penalty to win, and you can see the reaction from the fans.
All the Wesley players in giving young Robin Donovan plaudits and pats on the back. That's a huge penalty, a huge scrum, and a real mark of intent in the closing phases of this game.
You talked about rivalry early on, you could see it from both sides there.
This is a grudge match. These are two teams who've had a fierce rivalry over the last 4 or 5 years.
Cassidy pumps it into the stands.
Wesley walking in no rush to take this line out, Stuart.
Plenty of stoppage time played. And Byrne gets it right. Fair play to the replacement hooker. And he's getting those legs driving. But O'Regan decides to use his centre in Deegan. O'Regan just getting the boys round the corner when they come. But has that been turned over? That is smart play from Naas. And they do win it back. The ball is loose. They've got to be careful not to concede a fifth try. Bit of composure needed. from Tim Murphy. And he gets that. They're spinning and going. They've got nothing to lose here.
Well, they
Murphy.
are chasing a bonus point for 4 tries as well, Stuart. It's
They are
important to
indeed.
remember that.
Yeah, they'll have to go 80 metres or so. Lovely offload from their number 12. And away they go again. Murphy, I've been impressed. But the error is forced, and it's back with Wesley. O'Regan says enough's enough, puts it into touch, and says, you know what, the bonus point win when you're lying top of the table and get a 14th win of the season is enough for them. Naas came back into it, but ultimately they weren't good enough on Wesley. Okay, plenty to work on, but another win, Tom, and a win and a win and a win. You know, all these victories, it can only be good for the momentum going into the playoffs later on in the season.
Yeah, and Stuart, but look, just quickly back to that last line out, right? That's what I talked about. It was a throw on 4. Give your young hooker an easier target. That's what he did. Wesley secured ball. That's smart play. That's experience coming through in the closing moments of this game. Look, it was an incredibly close physical battle. It is a top of the table clash, and we got rugby that was top of the table clash worthy.
We did indeed. It was a real great try fest, as you say. 7 tries in total, but Wesley ultimately too good in the end.
Yeah, and 5 points here today for the win. Importantly, that will actually see us home for the first round of the playoffs. So that's a huge win for us. Donnybrook is a pitch we've learned how to play on, and we just need to make sure that we can stay fit and ready for the playoffs here now. Look, ladies and gents, thanks for joining us here today. Stuart, again, thanks for coming and commentating today. It's great having such talent and experience as yourself on the mic. I know our fans at home and abroad really appreciate it. So on behalf of all Wesley, thank you. On behalf of all Wesley, look, we are home in a couple of weeks to Shannon. We will to Mary's. We will of course be streaming that game. We wish the Fifths the best of luck tonight in their J6 League final. And stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and have a good rest of the weekend, folks.